Rob Cunningham is on the line with us. He's a conservative activist, filmmaker, USAF vet. RobCunninghamusa.com is his website, and he is an activist specifically around the issue of Common Core. Common Core is the set of math and well, here's how it's described by the AFT. In June 10th, the Common Core State Standards Initiative, led by the National Governors Association and the Council of Chief State School Officers, released the Common Core State Standards, CCSS, for math and English language, arts and literacy, and history, social studies, science, and technology. They were adopted by 45 states, the District of Columbia, 4 territories, and the Department of Defense. And they call for a shift away from excessive testing and a shift away from test preparation, and a joint effort to develop highly focused, high-quality, coherent curriculum and systems. So anyhow, Rob Cunningham. Hey, Rob, welcome to the program.
Hey, Tom. Thank you so much for having me.
So, I was all knee-jerk ready to go after Common Core. I remember back in 2001 or 2002, I forget what year it was, I had a conversation with Jim Jeffords in his office, the senator from Vermont at the time. I was living in Vermont. I was writing a book that ultimately became called Unequal Protection. And he left the Republican Party over No Child Left Behind because he asked the Congressional Research Service, the one that answers to Congress rather than to we the people. They do studies just for individual members of Congress. And they did a study for him on what would be the impact of No Child Left Behind. And the study basically, and their office shared parts of that with me to the extent that they legally could. I couldn't reprint it. But basically what it said was the outcome of this is that the $100 million a year testing industry is going to become a multi-billion-dollar a year testing industry. And of course, this was in the early years of the Bush administration, and George Bush's brother Neil was, had just started cranking up a big educational testing business. And so, Neil Bush would become very, very rich as a result of this. And that so offended Jim Jeffords that he left the Republican Party. I was assuming the Common Core was the same thing. And then I had a conversation with Randy Weingarten a couple of weeks ago with the American Federation of Teachers, I believe she's the president of. And she was like, no, this is not about testing at all. It's a completely different thing. What's your objection to this?
Well, first of all, let me just put on the record, my mama was a school teacher for 31 years. My wife, her mother's been a school teacher for almost 60 years. She's 78 years old and still substitute teaches in Jacksonville, Florida. So my concerns here are more the one-size-fits-all approach to education, regardless of location, regardless of status, regardless of whether you're a gifted child or whether you're special needs with an individual educational development plan. A one-size-fits-all approach to education is absolutely destructive to the art of teaching.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I mean, these are, though, just basic minimum standards for normal curriculum. There are obviously exceptions in here for programs for gifted kids. There are obviously exceptions in here for kids who are who have IEPs, who are struggling or who have learning disabilities. That's not what Common Core is all about. I thought one of the cool things about Common Core, and I remember, Jim Jeffords told me that, I was like, why are Republicans supporting this? And he was like, because we're getting a lot of money from, and why has this become a conservative issue? And how did Teddy Kennedy get bamboozled with this thing? And he said, Republicans are supporting this because we're getting a lot of money from the private testing industry. There are billions of dollars. It used to be millions. Now there are billions of dollars in profits to be made from No Child Left Behind. And what I like about Common Core is that it's open source. In other words, we can go back to what I had when I was going to school, and when I was a kid in elementary school in the 1950s, was the teachers would take the tests and they would run them off on the Mimeo machine and pass them out because they were, they were copyright free, or they were in the public domain, or the copyright was given to the teachers. And with Common Core, there's no copyright. There's no money to be made. And so I can understand where, the companies that were funding the Republican Party so heavily during No Child Left Behind might be opposed to Common Core. But I don't get why somebody like yourself who has a concern about education would be opposed to it.
Well, Tom, I'm going to ask you to dig a little deeper because there's massive amounts of testing. And I'll tell you right now, the educators and progressives against Common Core are completely against the testing that is off the charts. The marketing, the messaging, and the folks that are behind this, that are proponents of Common Core, may be telling you that this is not about testing. I can tell you right now, the teachers are outraged at the level of testing, the teacher assessments. The teacher assessments are linked to the student testing performance and everything.
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I've got this article here that you sent us called Told Kids Must Take Standardized Tests Whether They Agree or Not from politichicks.tv about Karen Piper.
Right.
What she's referencing is OCGA, Oregon Law 20-2-282, the State Board of Education Rule 160-4-2.11. This is from the 2003 school year, first of all. And secondly, it was mandated by the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, the ESEA, which is part of No Child Left Behind.
Correct.
So this has not, Common Core eliminates this.
Tom, Common Core was written in sworn secrecy in a collaborative group and was funded and launched by the stimulus package. It was written in collaboration, but again, sworn secrecy. All 4 subject matters, English language arts, social studies, science, and math, were written. They were gradually rolled out. Those that disagreed, some of the most brilliant educators in America, if they disagree with the standards.
So tell me something that you disagree with here, Rob. You're opposed to Common Core. High school
math has the absolute single highest correlation to success post high school.
Right.
No matter what the degree.
So what in the Common Core standards specifically?
High school math stops at Algebra 2. They are not STEM-ready curriculum and standards to get kids in a global economy that's growing.
So you object to what? The lack of calculus or trig?
It's Algebra 2. Algebra 2 is the standard. It stops.
Algebra 2 can be fairly damn complex.
It's 2 years. It sets us 2 years behind where we are today. Tom, it drops us back. It makes us less competitive. We're being told that this is a rigorous set of standards, and it's not. It's bringing us back. It's taking classical education and putting it in a meat grinder.
How many kids who are graduating from high school in the United States right now, nationwide, do you think could actually pass an Algebra 2 test?
Tom, I'll go you one better. Remember the New England primer that we started with back in the early 1800s? I would bet you 20% of high school graduates today could not pass the New England primer.
Oh, of course they couldn't. But let's not compare now with then. I mean,
Well, why wouldn't we want to have our students to have a comprehensive working knowledge that is based on creative?
So your objection to Common Core then is that it's not difficult enough.
No, Tom, look, you and I are probably going to agree on a couple of things. Number one, the corporate cronyism involved. There is no reason that Bill and Melinda Gates have spent over $3 billion that we can count on the development of Common Core standards. There is no reason in the world that Bill.
They're not in the educational testing business.
They're in the end bloom.
In fact, this is open source stuff. It's free of copyright.
Look at the data collection related to Common Core, the standards of Common Core, and look at the industries that are surrounded by it.
So there's still an opportunity for somebody to make a buck on this thing.
Tons and tons of money. Pearson PLC are the 2 largest companies in the world, and they're involved in printing the textbooks.
Okay, I got it.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Rob Cunningham, USA.com is the website. And, thank you, Rob, for being opposed to big companies making money off our kids. I appreciate it. We'll be back.